Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. God, I don't even know what to call this channel because we change it all the time. This is our first order transmission segment of the channel. And today is a really big episode because unexpectedly this morning, a trailer dropped for the final season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and I wasn't ready for it. I know there have been I woke up. What woke me up was it was around I think 8:45 in the morning, and I was getting texts and texts and texts, and I'm just like, all right, either someone's dead or Clone Wars trailer is out. So I took that to dark places. So I woke up and I watched it. I'm Corey. If you guys don't know, now you do know. Joined with me as always, Ross.
What's up?
What is going on? It is a big day. You guys have seen him before on the channel. We also have Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys? Long time no see.
With this new hairstyle. I mean,
you mean hair?
Hair.
I have hair for the first time. I haven't had hair this long since like middle school.
When was the last time you were on our show, dude?
I was on like one episode to talk about Elite Wear after I saw. It's been like 2 years since I was on consistently.
Damn, lots changed in 2 years. We also have
fucking A.
Joining us is Dan Grievous. If you guys don't know who Dan Grievous is, you have not grown up in the YouTube era of Clone Wars fans. So, what is going on, man?
Thank you. Always good.
Nice, dude. Well, guys, we got the trailer for Clone Wars.
Yeah.
This was, again, unexpected. I'm just going to go ahead and let Ross start with what you thought of it when it dropped, how you found out about it. Because I know I called you, and you were just like, oh, yeah, I know it's out, but I can't see it right now. So explain to me the process, what you went through when this was released this morning.
Hey, man. So as a YouTuber who typically wakes up late on most days, it's you wake up in the morning and I just check the YouTube app, not expecting anything, just hearing that this trailer existed, but not thinking it was just going to be up in less than 24 hours. And so I checked the app and I'm like, oh, the final trailer for the series that inspired my entire life is just up right now. And I'm about to watch it. And I was like, oh, now I have to actually be a human being and make breakfast first and do all that stuff. So got up, made some eggs, did the morning routine, and then
my eggs
set up my camera and had the mic backwards and had many other mishaps, and then finally with Corey on the phone, I was able to watch
you did. He did a whole intro.
Yeah, I did.
And you had the mic the wrong way.
It was backwards, man. I mean, it's just when you're not paying attention, it's like if it's not, it's just I'm so used to having it backwards because I usually film Lego minifigures in front of me. And so it's very complicated. It's quite an ordeal. But I watched the trailer and it was unbelievable. And the poster is definitely my favorite poster of all time. And it's just the trailer is just divine, man. It's incredible.
Yes. I think one of the greatest things for me of the show is really the impact, kind of like Ross was saying, on our personal lives. That it's kind of like what I guess people went through when they saw the originals in theaters for the first time. It changed their lives in a way, but for us, I think it's in a very personal way because we've been able to become friends through the show. Really, I mean, if it wasn't for Clone Wars, none of us would know each other, which is strange to think about. Yeah, it's really weird. And so for me, that was how I was feeling too before I watched it. I'm like, dang, this is it. This is the last trailer to this show. Me and Ross have talked about things carrying, how the decade changed and now we're in a new decade. And the one good thing from the last decade is just bleeding over a little bit, into 2020. And that's a great thing. But Mike, how was it for you waking up this morning with the trailer?
Yeah, waking up to Clone Wars? No, sirs. Unlike you guys, I'd been up for like 4 hours.
Oh my god!
Because I got 2 kids and a day job. So I was literally in line dropping my kid off at school when it popped up, and I got yelled at from her because I turned off her music so I could put it on the car. And I didn't even get to finish it because she's like, "You let me play my favorite part of the song." I'm just like it's fucking Star Wars. Come on, kid. Like you listened to the song before.
Yeah.
And then she didn't say bye to me on the way out the car because she was really mad. And then like I pulled up to like the next parking lot and I watched it, and then I was like, okay, cool. I better message Corey, and then Corey didn't reply for like another hour. I'm just like, God damn it, he's asleep.
Yeah.
And I knew, like you said, your phone was blowing up. I was like, I bet you anything he's gonna wake up. It's gonna like 80 fucking text messages. Gonna be like, fuck.
Dude, no, yeah.
I was like, something's going on. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but something's going on.
Well, it was funny because it was like three. It was a chain, right? It was Noah. He's like Clone Wars trailers. That it was Ross in all caps, and then it was you the thing, and I'm like, oh, it's like I was like, is this actually happening? Like just on a random Wednesday?
No, we all coordinated, knowing you'd be asleep, and we'd be like, I know, guys. Let's just.
Yeah, imagine if you guys just messed with me and it wasn't real, and I woke up and I got excited and I sat in front, like I was pulling up YouTube and there was nothing there. Wow,
you bastards.
Yeah, that would be something.
So so I was going about normal everyday life, not thinking much about Star Wars at the moment. Then also I'm just like, well, all right, back. And it was the poster actually. The trailer was cool, but the poster really like sold me like completely. Just something about the way they put it. Like I was explaining it to my daughter. I was like, this is why the poster's awesome. She's like, cool, put on the music. It's like
That's
someday
great.
you will appreciate me explaining color theory and the use of color in visual entertainment. And she's like, I don't care. And I felt old.
Well, now that you've dabbled into comics, I feel like you're going to have an eye for that a lot more than.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I write the stuff, but it's like I'm so particular about what colors we use to tell the story. So was that poster just like totally sold me like, this is good. Like we can go into that later. I don't want to go off on that tangent quite yet.
Dan, what were you doing, sir? And first and foremost, let's explain a little bit what you do on YouTube.
Oh, well, I'm a little small channel with about 3,000 or so subscribers. And for about a decade or so, I've been making YouTube videos primarily focused on the Clone Wars. I mean, my main focus on the show began with a music video about Newt Gunray with the song "Money, Money, Money" from Korea. And then that's the main thing that got into the mega mixes, which most people know, at least like to watch. And I just, when there is like a show that diverse and interesting in terms of topics and characters, just making videos about it is just a breeze. And I've been making videos about the Clone Wars ever since it came out in 2008.
Wow.
And I haven't stopped. I mean, I've made like a villains megamix and a heroes megamix for about every season, and it's like I try to find the best song that best fits every character or situation, or at least like in these recent years, because when we did hit the 10th anniversary of the Clone Wars, I started making these anniversary mega mixes where I covered everything from planets to locations to little subplots, and just gave them these little segments where they like even like the Doctor from the Lair of Grievous episode, or even some insignificant like the escape pod from the Bounty Hunters episode of season 2. Like these little minuscule things that most people tend to forget or ignore. I like to spotlight them. And I've been doing it for quite some time, and I don't plan to stop, even though YouTube has changed quite a bit.
It has.
To say the
Just a
least.
little.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And, yeah, I mean, it's like as long as people have fun and enjoy my stuff, or at least like the fact that I've had messages that like Dave Filoni and some cast members have seen my videos, like just brings warm feelings to my heart. Yoda.
Yeah, dude, it is, and honestly, like
It's the best. It's the best feeling. See, like the people you are inspired by, if they watch your content or even like hold your content or acknowledge it, you're just kind of like, all right, best feeling ever.
oh,
Yes.
100%.
Yes, I love it. I'm so thankful for, like, just even when I like post some video or like picture from Battlefront, and I see that Matt Wood liked it. It's the best feeling ever because the people you admire and and thank for all their hard work, they are happy and like what you do as well. It's incredible.
Absolutely. What was your reaction to the trailer?
Oh, I was ending a shift at work, and I was shocked because the bell went off, and it's like, what? It's like, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, a trailer, and then I got interrupted. But then I started watching, and it's like, and then I saw, and then it's like, and then it's like, especially when the battles began or the Clone Wars and stuff.
Yeah.
And Trench,
Trench. Yep. Trench.
That might be my favorite damn poster. You keep putting it up there. I'm just like, I love that poster so much.
It's perfect. It's my favorite poster of all time now. I mean, I think of every other poster, and this is it for me now.
I told Corey that somehow that one poster is better than the entire everything about Episode 9.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm not. I have no interest in bashing Episode 9. Like, I've moved past. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
But like that poster is just kind of like you see what they produced for Episode 9, and it's so apparent that it's a different department that works on the animation and knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
As opposed to the general broad marketing that Disney has like a bazillion different people contributing to try and make something. It's kind of like you can tell somebody at Lucasfilm made that poster.
Right.
Somebody who has worked on the show the entire time put so much attention and love into that poster alone that it's just like, that's it. Like, you almost don't need anything else. Like, we almost didn't even need a trailer today. If they would have just released that poster with the dates, that's it. We would have been so in.
Yep.
For like the next one, that poster would have sustained us for 30 days.
Oh, 100%. Well, and I think one thing that Ross, you pointed out that now, like looking at it, it's jarring how similar it is. It does sort of mirror Mustafar a lot, or the vibes off of.
Yeah, because I mean, I think the orange is definitely. I think it's very intentional, not just in creating the binary sunset on the left, but also in emulating Mustafar as we move into Revenge of the Sith.
It's got the tone of a setting sun. Too. So the sun setting on the Republic.
Right.
You've got that red orange hue that's very matching up with Revenge of the Sith. Yep. So obviously we know it's going to lead into Revenge of the Sith and appear. We'll get into it later. It's probably going to take place during Episode 3, and so to really have like you said, that Mustafar feel, that Episode 3 feel, it really just finally brings it together. And then if you compare it to the original poster from the series, it's got kind of the same layout, but the feel is totally different.
Right.
So I mean, it really it shows that journey from the first Clone Wars poster from the movie to now. It's just kind of visual storytelling. It's amazing what you can do with a fucking plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and that's the greatest thing about, I think, the marketing we're seeing for the show is the trailer was cut together so perfectly. And one thing that I was always super worried about, we'll start going to the trailer now, but one thing I was always super worried about was one character in particular, and that is Clone Trooper Jesse. And the reason I bring him up is me and Ross recently rewatched the Umbara arc. That's my favorite thing of all of Star Wars. That's literally number one for me. And the dynamic between Torrent Company is amazing. Jesse, Kix, Fives, all these clones are my favorite. And I was always worried that we wouldn't get that dynamic again in this season. Like, I knew we'd get with Bad Batch, but I was worried that Jesse would just be just not in Siege of Mandalore. No, like in the trailer, what I love about this marketing is even a character like Jesse, front and center.
Yeah,
something's happening with him. Yep. And I absolutely love the character showing in marketing, going, "Hey, this is the show you remember. This is not changing. This is exactly what you remember, and you're going to get more of it." Because
they're not just focusing on Anakin and Ahsoka. They're making sure that the things that made Clone Wars special and feel like the actual Clone Wars are still present.
Right.
Yeah, because I was certainly worried about there being a little bit too much Rebels influence bleeding over into the Clone Wars, because they're two very distinct shows, And obviously, you want to have some of that with like references like having Caleb and Depa and having that connectivity. But considering Gregor was the one on the ATTE with them, Rex and Wolf, I was starting to think that maybe Jesse was going to be sidelined and we weren't going to get a proper conclusion to his story, and that he was just going to disappear into the background of Mandalore, and then you're not really going to know what happened to him. But no, I mean, he's directly involved with the story, and it looks like he's going to get a very clear send off. And I think it's natural and right for the character.
Oh yeah, I mean,
for the
go ahead.
whole 66 arc, because Jesse is the last witness to what Fives did, and because has like been frozen and sent off to that sand planet, and now Jesse is the last survivor who knows the secret.
Right.
Then we're gonna hide the whole thing, but I'm getting ahead of it myself. Sorry.
No worries at all. Like, yeah, that's Jesse's really the last survivor out of that particular group of clones. I mean, it's crazy to think that all of those guys have died in some
not just Domino now it's pretty much the entire Umbara team.
Yeah, Hardcase is gone.
It's depressing.
Fives, Echo. So here, let me ask you guys this: do you guys think we're going to see Echo in Siege of Mandalore?
Yes.
You think so?
Probably. Why not?
See, I don't think Siege of Mandalore, but Bad Batch, yeah.
Okay.
Although, I think Bad Batch is not going to be altered in any way.
Right.
But we know nothing about the walkabout and Siege of Mandalore except that the Republic goes to Mandalore. We don't know who is involved, and if Maul is involved, then that thing, the whole thing with the Kylo Ren move on Jesse, it feels like it's gonna take place on Mandalore, or maybe after the whole.
Right. So here's my theory. I believe. Well, I wish I could zoom in here. Let me see if I can. This is totally doing this.
This is the best poster ever. Yes.
That's right. It is. I think there's only so much I can zoom in on this. Hold on.
I cannot wait to get a 24x36 of this, man. The Endgame poster is coming down.
Hey, so Ross, I'm going to do this on air and embarrass myself. What are the, how do I zoom in?
Command plus.
Thanks, dude.
Yep.
Thank you. I am.
It looks like you're reaching over Baby Yoda right
He
now.
is.
Like,
I actually am.
Your chin's over like his shoulder.
That's basically what's going on.
Corey tries so hard.
Dude, this is bad. I can't.
You could ask Baby Yoda to move. I mean, he's pretty good about it. Oh, he's gone. There
I
you go.
can just do that.
Oh man.
Anyways, do you guys see this clone right here in the poster?
Yeah.
I think that's Echo. I believe that's going to be Echo.
I have to look at it a little closer.
Yeah,
No, I mean, it's not impossible. He's definitely got. Well, so the difference with that clone is, he's got the Cody visor. He's got the little strips on the top of the helmet, just like Cody. He's got the jetpack like Cody. The little name tag, just like Cody. So he's basically got all of Cody's gear. His antennas on his helmet are unique, though.
Thank you, Mike.
But I don't necessarily think I would jump to the conclusion of that being Echo. That could just as easily be a heavy trooper.
Well, listen. Thanks for ruining my night yet again. I just think, I mean, it seems odd to me that they would reintroduce Echo and then that would just be it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that Echo would just kind of disappear in the way we were thinking Jesse would.
Right. Oh, Dan, I'm so sorry, Dan Curto. I don't know how long you've been in here for, and I didn't add you to the.
Oh, Dan's here.
What's going on? What's going on, Dan Curto?
Not much.
Okay, so I did just put Dan like midway through. We've only been live for like 15 minutes. Dan, we just started recently. We were just talking earlier about what our reaction to the trailer was. So what was yours?
I thought it was really cool. I wasn't expecting it. I haven't been keeping up with any of the stories or anything like that. So I thought this was going to be the unfinished scene, the episodes we saw, right? Back a few years ago, back online. I thought they were going to finish them up, but this is like brand new stuff I hadn't seen before. I didn't know Maul was going to be in it. I'm obviously Ahsoka, but like a lot of good stuff. Very excited.
You didn't know Maul was going to be in it?
Oh man, I don't follow any spoilers.
But they released a trailer in the summer that had Maul in it.
Yeah, I probably didn't see that.
Dang, dude. Dan. That's okay. I'll let you slide for that one for now. So we do have 2 Dans in here, so we're going to just call you Kurto for tonight.
That works.
That works, indeed. What did you think of the poster?
Oh, I like the poster. A hell of a lot better than any of the movie posters we've gotten recently.
Yeah.
So I think everyone is sharing the same feeling on.
Oh, dude, it's just so incredible.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Or does the poster for every live-action movie in the last 5 years been done by Disney's marketing team, and this Clone Wars poster has been done by the people at Lucasfilm, like the people who are working on the show, because the style is completely different. Like
Yeah.
the Force Awakens has such similar vibe to Aladdin's poster, for instance, while this Clone Wars poster just doesn't look like anything that Disney has released in the last like 2 years.
Right. No, I agree.
There's so many like conflicting styles, just like, like to your point, people who prefer crowded posters versus people who prefer less crowded posters. So, you have The Force Awakens, which was just bombastic. It was crazy how much was on there. And then you get to Rise of Skywalker, and it's just very minimal in comparison. And then here with the Clone Wars, we're back to having a more crowded poster. I personally prefer having more on the poster like this, and I think it's just really well laid out as well. I mean, you just have really, I think, a variety of different styles in the different divisions.
Hey, Mike, you're muted, by the way. I don't know if, No. Technical difficulties. This is the way of being.
Or he just muted himself now.
Oh.
I think he did.
I think that's that.
Mike is now. Mike is now on mine.
Okay,
There
there
we
we
go.
go. I got it now.
Okay.
I got it.
There he is.
I was testing you again.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't zoom in. You can't work a mic. That's how it is tonight.
It's pretty much nothing's changed in 2 years. It's great.
No, it has.
It's like being home.
Yeah, you're right.
What I want to know is, who is this? Because I'm kind of fucking in love. Like that's my thing, man. Like,
Hold up.
she looks like a badass.
That
She's obviously from the Ahsoka stories. Like, I just want to know what her story is.
right. Is she from
And
Rebels?
if she has a boyfriend.
Right. So, all right, guys, we're gonna go through the trailer now.
Yes.
Let's start. Let's begin. That is a Lucasfilm logo.
It is. How'd you know?
Yes. People who actually knew what the fuck they were doing.
I love this shot of Bo-Katan looking at the fallen Mandalore, and I can't. Ross, we talked about this earlier, but I can't help but feel as if, like, I realize that there's going to be a second purge of Mandalore, right? And that's what Moff Gideon refers to, Mandalorian. But you can also attribute that everything he says to a battle like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Mandalore after the Civil War and then the Republic's involvement. It just looks completely decimated and uninhabitable, to the point where you could absolutely see the city of Sundari just being vacated for the next couple decades. And the Mandalorians, they don't really even discuss the main city anymore. It just doesn't really seem to be a part of their culture past this battle, from what we know. And it just looks completely destroyed. I mean, even worse than I think most people were expecting. It's just gone.
By the
Yeah,
way,
complete destruction.
that actually brings to light why the Imperials in Star Wars Rebels were actually parked outside of Sundari, and they were not like occupying the city inside. They were like parking their Star Destroyers right next to it. So
Right.
It does bring credence to the fact that it's inside. It's so uninhabitable and inhospitable that nobody wants to live inside of it. Not even
Right.
Paxton
Oh, no,
promised.
yeah. Absolutely. I love that Maul is narrating the trailer, too. That adds such depth to it.
It's not your typical, good character narrating, like, oh, we still have hope. Maul's like,
Exactly. I love seeing the Revenge of the Sith models on
Right.
Mace
Yeah.
Windu and Obi-Wan.
And we've talked about this. I know we won't get the scene, but I would love to have had a scene where the Jedi are pulling off the armor and trying to make clear to the public that they are not the warmongers that they are now perceived as, and they are trying to go back to being the peacekeepers they were always supposed to be. But it's too little, too late.
Right.
They would just be like, "Wait, you're going off to battle? Shouldn't you keep that shit on?"
I'm just thinking of how blown away, Curto, you must have been at just like 15 seconds into this trailer, going like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
Just hearing
There's a
Maul-
Clone Wars show coming back.
like
No,
just
I
hearing.
knew it was coming back, and like I said, I have watched the unfinished animatics that they had, a while back.
Yeah.
But I loved this show when it was airing. I didn't love every episode. Let me just clarify that. The Poison Snapple episodes, I really didn't like those, and I didn't like the Zillow Beast, and et cetera, et cetera. There were some, but overall, loved the whole show as a whole, especially towards the end when they started really getting more closer to Revenge of the Sith and just solidifying a lot of storylines, and seeing some of these characters back in this form was just like, wow, this is awesome.
Yes. I think this particular shot, seeing the 501st, Rex and Jesse and Kix just all walking side by side, is something else.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to know what's going on with Maul here, because he does thumbs up.
It looks like the Twilight of the Apprentice finale when they're in the obelisk with that pink and all the line work behind him. Obviously, then he probably won't be there, but it's got that very similar vibe.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's probably not, but I think, and toward the end of the trailer, if you look at the throne, it looks like Maul has almost installed his own red lights, or that might just be the hue of his lightsaber. But it almost
he's so extra, Jesus.
Yeah, it almost does look like there are actual red lights on the throne now, and so that could be just maybe his own cosmetic changes to the wall behind him. Who knows?
I mean, I think that's what's kind of cool about, we got Maul in 99, and he was just kind of this, silent, badass assassin. But, Clone Wars gave him this personality. So we get to this point now where it's not a surprise he would decorate. You know?
Yeah.
He'd be like, what else can I do to really, enhance my features? I know, red mood lighting. And that's, at that point, that's Darth Maul.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this was the shot that really blew my mind in the trailer. One of the many shots. But
What's your favorite Star Wars character?
There's so much to unpack here, man.
Yeah. Yes. Wait. Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Kanan.
Really?
Mhm.
Interesting.
My three favorite Star Wars characters are all from Rebels.
Moving on, I'm totally kidding. In the trailer, can I just say the poor Yoda looks. He just can he see anything?
Can somebody get him a fucking box?
Where's the
Honestly.
chair thing?
Yeah, it's
Something.
he
Mace Windu is a dick, but right now he's little dude can't see.
He's just staring at nothing. He can't see
Mace
them.
Windu could have literally just picked him up by the shoulders like a kid and be like, "Here you go, buddy."
Yeah, he couldn't
Put him on the edge
even
of the
It's
table.
so bad looking. I bet people are going to mistake him for Baby Yoda.
Yoda's gonna have to scooch back 10 feet just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're the only two actually in this room. Everybody else is a hologram.
Right.
Yeah.
Lazy.
They don't have
When I
kids.
don't want to show up to a morning, Monday morning meeting, I'll just call.
Yeah.
it.
All right. So, Ross, I know your favorite clone is Commander Bly.
My favorite armor for the clones is Commander Bly.
Your favorite armor.
When I was growing up watching the Clone Wars, when I first saw Commander Bly in his Phase 1 armor on screen, I just fell in love. And 2008, Ross picked up a Sharpie, got to work with some all-purpose labels, and just made his first custom Lego clone. And that was what started it all for me. And so then Bly disappeared from the show after that. Never thought we would see him again. Corey and I have had conversations oh man, Siege of Mandalore has got to be such a tight episode. It's all on Mandalore. It's going to be mostly focused on Ahsoka and Rex's perspective for, as we move into Revenge of the Sith. So you're not going to see the other Jedi and what we already see in Revenge of the Sith, right? They're not going to cover any of that anymore. But no, here we are.
Yeah, there you go.
There's
Yep.
Bly, there's Bakara and
Yep.
Kiadi on Megiddo. I mean, they're adding in Kanan and Depa Billaba. It's incredible. It's fantastic.
I had a feeling that we were going to see Kanan pop up in the finale, just because Filoni was talking about how he did certain rewrites that accommodate for Rebels, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a certain Inquisitor in Jedi Temple Guard at some point.
Gar Saxon's in it too, right?
Gar Saxon is in it. Yeah, we'll definitely get to him. which is exciting.
I love the robes, man.
Somebody says in the comment section, I started watching Ross when he made that Bly.
Yep. Yeah. I was so obsessed making my first set of custom clones over all those years. I think I made at least somewhere between 15 and 30 custom Lego Blys until I had the absolute perfect one, because I was evolving from Sharpie into paint as a little kid at that point. And Bly is just super just important to the beginning of my YouTube channel.
That's awesome, dude. That's why I'm glad he popped up, at least for you.
We talked about it as just like an offhanded
We did.
idea, just that would definitely not happen. We're not going to see any of the other clones from Revenge of the Sith.
I was literally on the phone with Ross last night. I'm not even last night. I'm like, dude, you think Bly could like turn up? And we had a whole discussion on what his Phase 2 armor would look like animated. And then I wake up to the trailer and I see him and I'm like, oh, we willed that into existence.
We just watched the 2 episodes with Ayla and Bly, because we've been rewatching the Clone Wars, Corey and I, and it's just an offhanded idea that apparently is very real. It gets me excited to see what else we might see from Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah. So Mace Windu in the shot says, "I sense the plot to destroy the Jedi." This is exactly what he said in Revenge of the Sith, and we are getting scenes from Revenge of the Sith in this finale, which honestly I did not expect. Like, I didn't think they would actually. I knew they said they would go into Revenge of the Sith, but I thought that would only be through Ahsoka's perspective. It is cool that we're seeing it through. I mean, because in all honesty, Clone Wars, the 3 main leads are Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. So it does make sense to get some perspective through Obi-Wan and Anakin too, in some way, and the Jedi. Even though we see it in the movie, it's cool that we're seeing some of that animated. Now, I don't think it's going to be. I don't know if necessarily we're going to see like the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan in any fashion, but I think it's a possibility we could get snippets of stuff like that, which I think is cool.
We'll probably see a lot of the other kind of like random background Jedi, through Order 66. So they're going to kind of fill in some of those gaps nicely for us.
Right.
So just to get kind of nitpicky, I guess, Mace Windu and Yoda in the original scene of Revenge of the Sith are obviously the only ones in the room, really. And around that holo table, you don't have Ayla, Bly, Kiadi, Bakara, or Plo Koon, or Depa Billaba, or Kanan. So it makes you wonder if that's a separate transmission and that they're kind of cutting in another shot of Windu and that reenactment of the I Sense a Plot to Destroy the Jedi scene. Like, what's going on there?
They might have just forgot to turn off the camera. And everyone's like, man, what a fucking downer are you guys? Jesus.
Basically.
First thing, the voiceover goes over a scene where Mace is actually in physical form in the chamber that is lower.
Good point.
At the temple. While in the Revenge of the Sith, they're up in the towers. So I think it's a completely different scene. Where I don't think they're gonna like retell some Revenge of the Sith scene, or
right.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have that scene that we didn't see where Anakin was getting an update from Quinlan Vos about Boss Pity.
Oh, okay, that would be awesome.
That would sort of seamlessly fit in there. That'd be kind of cool. I doubt it. But, they have the model for Quinlan Vos.
somewhere in LA right now, Sal's like, someone said Quinlan Vos.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Quinlan Vos and his whole story is just so crazy to me now, because the guy was just a full-blown separatist war criminal, and then by the time Revenge of the Sith, it's like, oh yeah, Vos is just in Boss Pity, leading a battalion of clones. It's like, that guy just killed a ton of Jedi and clones, and other innocents a few months ago. Like,
just Quinlan Vos things.
But we were gonna put Ahsoka in front of a firing squad. It's like,
yeah. For those of you who haven't read Dark Disciple, basically the premise is Quinlan Vos straight up goes to the dark side and joins with the Separatists. At first, it's supposed to be a ploy, but then he's full on, like, he's into it.
I haven't.
And then, this is news to Dan. It is literally
cool, because I really liked him in the comic books, and in the comics, the way that they him in, he was on the sheet
comic.
Some of the other Jedi and survived.
Right.
What's that?
No, he straight up goes.
He wasn't comic relief in the comic books. In the stuff that was released between episode 2 and episode 3, he was like hardcore, serious Jedi. Mm-hmm. But then in Clone Wars, he had that like comic relief aspect, in which it worked. It wasn't like it was done poorly. It was just a different characterization.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, in Dark Disciple, Duke, or he works for Dooku, and he straight up goes to the Jedi Temple and murders like 2 Jedi. He's killing clones. These were going to be the Clone Wars episodes, and then the Jedi forgive him. They let him back in. No, after all that, and then
after because he helped turn Ventress to the light side, and they're like, "Nah, you're cool."
Yeah, that's true. He did.
But
We all kind of liked her. She was kind of a bitch, but we liked her, and Obi-Wan had this thing. We don't acknowledge it. But it's cool. You brought her back, so you can come back to it.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, here, talking. Do you want your firing squad on her?
Ahsoka's like, fuck you.
Yeah, just goodbye.
Like walking away from the temple, be like, so he's cool. That was probably his great test too.
Oh yeah. Yep.
The Third Admiral Enigma. That was the weirdest part of that novel. So
it really was. No, there was some. I like the novel. Like I really liked the story and what they put together. But it definitely it's yeah. So there's some inconsistencies there.
Quinlan.
Well, it sounds like the Jedi in general.
It does. So this shot in the trailer is what really, dude. That got yeah. Those emotions ran high when I saw this. Seeing Darth Maul, it's essentially torturing Jesse, and it's like, my theory here, and Ross, we've talked about this. Is I think Maul is figuring out Order 66. He's dealing with it right now. They're probably going after him too because he's Force sensitive and he has a lightsaber. And I think he's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Yeah. And that's what's going on here.
And this is so interesting because it's just not something that I ever really considered thinking of what Siege of Mandalore was going to be like. Because I just figured, and it's very much portrayed in the Ahsoka novel from 2016 that Maul doesn't really seem that invested in what's going on with the Republic or anything like that. You get a very brief scene there in that book in the beginning. And so I just kind of always pictured Maul as just using Order 66 as a quick escape, right? He's fighting Ahsoka. The clones trap him or whatever happens, whatever ensues. And then they execute Order 66. Suddenly they turn Ahsoka. And then he's like, I don't know what's going on, but bye. Peace. And he just dips. And that would be that. But no, it's seeing him actually capture Jesse here, probing his mind like Kylo Ren. Clearly, I have to imagine trying to either interrogate him for information or just figure out what's going on. It's cool, man. And Jesse is clearly out of it as the ship is going off. I mean, not as I was expecting.
Yeah, he has that same look.
He's having a bad day.
Yeah, he has that same look in his eye that we see Tup have. When Tup is
like a scene later in the trailer, or where Ahsoka is holding a clone's hand, and I think that's Jesse.
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
No, I think Jesse dies, and that makes sense because he's not there in Rebels.
Right. We'll jump back to Jesse in a bit when we get to that shot. Here we got Yoda, Revenge of the Sith thing. We've seen this shot countless times, of course. This is I don't
we don't have a name.
I'll be honest. I don't know.
It's Jana's mom. Confirmed.
There you go. I don't know who it is. I know of them.
Yeah, because they're going to do those Ahsoka episodes, and she's going to be hanging out with these 2 from the poster.
Yeah.
All right. So it's cool. I'm looking forward to see what they bring to the table. She asked Ahsoka why she walks, how she could walk away from the Jedi, and I like what Ahsoka
let me
said.
tell you a story.
Exactly.
About the male patriarchy bullshit I've been dealing with.
I love seeing Ahsoka. Dude, do you guys remember when Clone Wars was canceled and Dave Filoni released artwork of Bo-Katan and Ahsoka shaking hands, and here it is.
So when you say things like that, man, it just makes this all the more surreal. This is just such a dream.
Well, it's kind of cool because they've released a lot over the years. They've talked a lot about what was to come. So it's cool that they're giving it, not just giving it to us, but like they didn't just change their minds or their plans because they'd already talked about it. It's kind of like that was the story. And they're not going to be like, oh shit, well, we talked about it at a celebration. People won't like it. It's like, no, that's the story. We're sticking with it. So I appreciate that they did that.
One thing I didn't notice, I'm noticing just now,
I just noticed it too. Yeah, the shock trooper.
Yeah, the Coruscant Guard is on Mandalore. That's unexpected and bizarre. Yeah. Did not know they would be involved.
Interesting.
Maybe we'll see Thyre.
Oh.
Thyre's dead. Oh, no, sorry. I thought of
He's not
Thorn.
No, that's Thorn, yeah.
Dude, could you imagine if the finale, like we see all the clones we didn't see since like the beginning of the series? That'd be awesome.
Dude,
There's gonna be like one ship with like all the Forgotten clones that are like, cool, we're on Mandalore. What are we doing here?
Yeah, they all get killed. Dude, that'd be awesome to see Thyre and Jack and Reese.
yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
saying what's up.
I don't see why not if you already got the Coruscant Guard.
God, this shot.
Oh, so reminiscent of Revenge of the Sith, man. The end.
Yep.
Yeah.
So of course we got Anakin in his updated model, Revenge of the Sith look. I've always loved this shot of seeing Kix, Cody, Rex, and Jesse together.
Mm-hmm.
This is, it's a dream come true. We see them, of course, the Bad Batch, which is great to see. You know,
Something kind of weird about Cody is his antenna's on the wrong side. I don't know what's going on there in that shot. Behind the previous shot.
Now the show's ruined.
Totally ruined. It's over, man.
That's right. All right, Ross. So first and foremost, before we get to the planet, I totally geeked out when I saw the 501st Jet Troopers.
Yes,
because
sir.
I didn't think we'd see them again.
Yep.
And like that figure, that Hasbro figure, is incredibly hard. Like, dude, you can't buy that.
Yeah,
Okay? You can't even buy
it. Came out as the figures are being phased out, and the Clone Wars figures were over.
Yes. So like, I hope Hasbro would consider re-releasing that guy now that he's prevalent again.
I mean, they're prevalent again now in Battlefront 2, so I mean, you could get a GameStop exclusive figure of him.
That's true.
I mean, but the scene with the Jet Troopers is really interesting because there's like a bridge battle,
Mm-hmm.
with a very nice, peaceful planet with like rolling like mountains with trees. It looked like Magneto for a second, but it's not enough. But it's very peaceful with like forests in the distance. Like I don't know where it is actually.
Yeah, so now that I'm looking at it again, Corey, this is not Magneto.
No,
It would be dark and snowing and chaotic. This is not Magneto.
So that video I just made.
I don't know. Very mountainous. It's
Maybe an Exegol.
Oh,
God,
please stop.
no, we don't accept that language here.
maybe it's maybe it's Kaler or how do you pronounce it where Depa Bilaba and Caleb.
Ooh,
Oh,
there
man.
you go.
That would be cool.
Dude, you might be onto something.
I just hope we get a really good sequence with those Octopara droids where they're just they're going down the bridge, rotating, the heads rotating, each blaster firing just like Christoph says in the beginning of the series. I would love to get something like that again.
Oh, yes.
My biggest question is, where does this scene fit in the entirety of the finale? Of the 12 episodes, what arc does this fit in? Is this Siege of Mandalore arc? Is this the Ahsoka arc? Is this going to be, because this is not Bad Batch?
I think it's the Ahsoka arc, probably.
Yeah. Do you think things will happen like concurrently?
I think it's gonna.
They could be showing during the Ahsoka stuff. They definitely could be showing kind of like other events around the galaxy to end up that might be setting up the Siege of Mandalore. Like there could be stuff like that could be on a planet that's like within the system, and the Separatists are making their way through it, and then all of a sudden, however the Separatists. Well, did the Separatists play a role in Mandalore, or did they say they don't at all?
No, they don't.
No, they
Okay,
don't.
so never mind.
Isn't that crazy that one of the best battles and one of the greatest conflicts of this series, the Separatists aren't even involved?
Yeah.
Okay, that is a disappointment, by the way, because the best episodes of the Clone Wars, that's not a popular opinion, but the best episode always featured the Separatists or Count Dooku in one way or another. Like the most, because like I don't know, it's complicated. Like a lot of people say that the further the show went out of its way to feature new characters like Maul and other things that are not Separatist was at its best. But I disagree. Like the most intriguing stuff was like Onderon and Umbara, which was very heavy Separatist involvement, even though it was indirect via like Bone Crow and stuff. But to go back to the scene with the bridge and the battle and the Jet Troopers, there's a scene later with a very badass scene with Obi-Wan where he's angry in the middle of a cloud of mist or dust. There's a similar rolling hill or mountain in the back. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's going to be in the Ahsoka arc, and maybe it's going to be like the beginning of something that doesn't connect to anything else, or just an intro.
Right. Dude, that'd be. I mean, those are 4 episodes, right? I can't imagine we're going to spend 4 episodes consistently with Ahsoka and the 2 new characters. You know, I can't imagine that's going to. So yeah, I do think that we're going to jump around.
Well,
To
okay, like in the previous trailer, there was one planet where there was like royalty welcoming Ahsoka on some planet.
that was Kessel, wasn't it? Wasn't that Kessel or no?
But Castle was after that.
Oh, you're right. There was 2 different planets. Yeah. This is super exciting to see fully animated. This is from the Bad Batch. These guys are pretty prevalent in it.
Man, what if the final 12 episodes, instead of going to all these planets, they just all took place on Lothal?
No.
All 12.
Yes.
Just like the series, just all on
Take it.
Lothal.
I'll do it.
I know you would.
I know I would.
So
Because there's a whole nother side of the planet they never went to.
Yeah, just Lothal. It's called Lothal.
Yeah, like they were on the northern hemisphere. They gotta go to south, man.
That's
like,
right.
South of Lothal is like
Clone Wars,
hopping.
Ahsoka. Listen. No. We've got. I think right here, Ahsoka is feeling Order 66 happening. I think that's what's going on. Yeah.
I thought Filoni said that Order 66 interrupts the fight between Ahsoka and.
I think there's been changes made to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's been changes.
Yeah, I mean, I think having Order 66 go down on the Venator after, kind of like Corey mentioned this to me earlier today,
Ooh.
it actually kind of lines up a little more with why Anakin might not be checking up on her in Revenge of the Sith, because maybe the campaign on Mandalore has already been successful, Maul's been driven from the planet, and Bo-Katan is handling it, and Ahsoka already left. But now I kind of feel like it would be too repetitive after Jedi Fallen Order, because we literally just had that.
True.
Yeah.
This is actually fascinating. If this happened, if this is Order 66, and she is literally stuck on a ship with thousands of clone troopers that's in hyperspace,
Yeah.
that puts her in almost a way worse spot than fighting Maul. You know, and getting
Oh
interrupted.
yeah, 100%.
Oh my god.
Because
yeah.
now because I'm guessing the only way she's getting out, well, probably one of the only ways she gets out is if Rex is on there too, and they're
Yeah.
working together to get out.
Yep.
That's exactly what it looks like, because at the end of the trailer, you have them barricading themselves inside a room.
Oh, together. Oh.
Yep.
Ship with the clones that have Ahsoka markings. So maybe they all are stuck on the same ship going into hyperspace.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, they're going to blow the ship at the end, because if Anakin thinks she's dead and Rex is dead, you know, they were part of the crash, then there's no reason for him to for them to go look for her.
And that would make so much sense when he feels the connection in Rebels and goes, "The apprentice lives," because he could think
you
that.
assume that she's dead.
Right.
But again, that brings up what Ross said, that it kind of mirrors, or at least kind of feels like they're taking some cues from Jedi Fallen Order. Paul and like Cal Kestis, they escaped with an escape pod, but the ship was destroyed, and so nobody came to look for them for 5 years.
Right.
So I hope
It could just almost crash land on the planet or something like that too, wherever they end up going, and they can just essentially report no survivors or something.
I'm very curious to see what was kept from the Ahsoka novel in 2016, because, I mean, I guess spoilers if they keep any of this, but I mean, they're obviously, as you can kind of infer from Rebels, Ahsoka and Rex fake their death, and there's a scene where she buries her lightsabers and stuff like that happens. So, I mean, I wonder how much of that is going to be kept or even shown.
Yeah.
I mean, if I wouldn't be surprised if Rex and Ahsoka end up on a different planet and do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just to do it. But yeah, I don't think, because I always, like Mike was saying, I always envision Order 66 happening on Mandalore. So I was, I mean, whatever direction they take, I almost do like the idea of the Ahsoka book, certain things being sort of overwritten, just because it's new. You know, it's nothing's known, and it kind of seems like nothing indicates that anything we've seen in the Ahsoka book, you know, in that way is going to be carried forward.
And I mean, let's be real, the book wasn't great.
It was bad.
It was awful.
Okay, I was trying to be nice, but yeah, it was bad.
I'm sorry.
And to clarify, like, straight out, that's not the author. I mean, that book wasn't well done, but the next book she did, the Amidala one, was fantastic. So
I got
I liked it.
I got
I liked it because
I got 2 minutes in and had to turn it off. I was so bored.
I read. Well, you see, I did it old fashioned. I read it. So. No, and I like what they explored there. But yeah, the Ahsoka novel. I just remember the time being like, okay, sure,
Yeah.
this is the content we all really wanted on Ahsoka.
But Corey and I were hanging out, and
hanging out with a family called the Farties.
Exactly.
I reinstalled the Ahsoka novel really quick on my phone while Corey was here, and we listened to the Mandalore intro.
Yes, we did.
It was. I'm sorry.
It's rough.
I wish I think we both wish we could have unheard the intro of that book.
I do wish. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think we're gonna get much better dialogue in as they actually fight. Guys, this is the most Hayden Christensen Anakin look
Right.
that we have gotten so far.
Yes, sir.
Look at him.
He hasn't looked this pissed since he was hunting Racco Hardeen.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean,
So the question is, because this is right before Trench, right? Like the next show is Trench and the robot.
oh yeah.
So the question is, what did Trench just do?
Okay. Spoilers.
Yeah, we could answer that.
I mean, okay, the thing is, it's not justified, and that's usually my problem with Anakin, because you either love or hate what he does in the Clone Wars, but this was unjustified because, like Trench tries to defend himself, and then he attacks, so to speak, Anakin, and just Anakin
What, is
goes.
this Bad Batch?
This is Bad Batch. Yep.
Oh, okay. I watched it once and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I can stay and just not say what happens to Trench, but
He dies.
Okay. Well, there it is, just right out there.
I'm guessing. Like, I don't think anybody walks away from Anakin when he does this, and this dude's trapped in a corner with a robot that doesn't fight.
Yeah, I mean this arc has also been out for like 3.5 years. So,
Yeah, exactly.
What I love about it, man, it's so reminiscent of the Mustafar scene where he's executing all the separatists, because it's just them in a room with Anakin, and it's great because I mean, in that episode, in what was it, season 2, when they're with the cloaked ship.
Yes. Cloak of Deception. Yeah. Cat and mouse. Cat and mouse.
Cat and mouse. Yeah. Yularen mentions how Trench was once thought dead, but then he came back.
Right.
And then Anakin pulled off that maneuver on his cruiser and then seemingly killed him again, but now he's alive for the third time, or the second time. So it's like Anakin's just had enough. He's putting it down.
okay.
He's gonna make sure.
And I really like the detail that he's using Rey's lightsaber. I mean, I think that really just brings it all together.
Mm,
Okay, here's the thing about Trench. Like this is the beauty of Trench. Like the series chronologically started with Trench, then it returned on Netflix with a Trench episode.
Right.
And the final season will begin with a Trench episode.
That is fitting. I absolutely. Man, Trench looking all like thinking about how the scene's gonna look animated has me so pumped. Like just fully rendered, fully ready.
I can't wait.
Dude.
A lot of Trench, and one of the best scenes, which I'm most excited about, I know a lot of people might not be excited about, is the conversation between Emir Tambor and Trent on Skywalker. That thing fully animated is something I've always wanted, because the Bad Batch arc is actually my all-time favorite arc from the Clone Wars.
Oh, nice, dude. Well, this must be super exciting for you then.
Yes, that's why I'm just losing my mind, because not only that the Clone Wars is coming back, but my favorite arc is coming back to be fully animated and just being enjoyed as Dave Filoni originally intended, which I'm so happy about.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I can't wait to see. Well, and I want to point out too that Echo has not been shown in the marketing as of yet. We've got 3 trailers, and Echo is being purposefully, I think, held till people watch it who might not.
They're hoping most people didn't watch the animatic or just forgot.
Right.
Well, I have to say one thing. I saw the comments either under the Facebook or under the Twitter link to the trailer, which was posted on the official Star Wars account, either on Facebook or Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
People were commenting that the scene where Anakin goes ballistic on the Providence class Star Destroyer was actually, oh my goodness, they're gonna recreate Mustafar. It's like it sounded like people, those people who were like arguing about Anakin being on Mustafar, were confused that like they didn't watch the scene where he kills Trench.
Mm.
So there are people out there who have not seen, for one reason or another,
Right.
the unfinished episodes, the
Mhm.
reels.
Dude, that's cool, man. Anybody who hasn't seen it yet, like that's
There-
exciting to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I always held off, and I never saw the Utapau crisis. I only loosely watched Bad Batch, so I kind of know a couple things about Bad Batch, like Echo and all of that stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm one of those people who really kind of steered away from the reels. I'm glad I did.
Well, you're lucky. You're gonna get like a fresh, like. I mean, it's so short, by the way. Just like because I'm super excited. Like I've never been so excited about an arc to appear in, unless it has Tigis, but that's not question.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Dan, is this your all-time favorite character? What's his name?
Okay, his name is okay. Some people like that one has said it Titus, but I
Okay.
thanks to my nagging. Sorry. His name is actually Tikas because he has double K's.
Yes.
So, okay, the thing is, in the grand scheme of things, he's a pebble that means nothing, especially now that they have given Nurse the right for Isolation League, but that's another tangent. The thing is, this character got me into Star Wars.
Oh man.
Yes. Back in 2003, when the original Clone Wars series came out, I was just watching and being amazed, and then Chapter 5 came up, and the first word I like the designation that I heard was like quarantine isolation. And it's like, oh my goodness, what is that? And that was like one of the first times I used actually the internet. I know it's not weird, but and then I went there and I just started browsing and I found like search Quarantine Isolation League, and there he popped up. First name was Tikas. It's like, oh,
Because
like I was so impressed by the design he had in Attack of the Clones. I was like, okay, let's search more. And then I found Fisto, Mace Windu, the Battle of Dantooine, and and he was my gateway. He was my gateway entrance into the beautiful franchise we love and are talking about now.
Dude, I love that how just people get into Star Wars for the most crazy of reasons. I've got a buddy who's been a close friend of mine since 2012, who started up an entire business around clone troopers, and he got into Star Wars because of watching Rookies, season 1, episode 5, when they were at the Rishi base. And it's just like, could you imagine if you got to meet the guy who was in the Tickets costume? I mean, like, that's just so random and just so cool. But something like that is what got you started. I mean, that's just hilarious.
here he is.
I mean, like for instance, here's like a little like I know it's not related to trailer. I don't want to take away from this awesome discussion, but like during the celebration panel where they're discussing these awesome episodes and what was not made, and like they discuss even the Sith Shrine and all the other awesome things that we never got, and probably fingers crossed that book about the Clone Wars actually features those things.
I hope so.
But there's like that moment in the panel where Pablo Hidalgo and Dave Filoni are talking about the Mon Cala arc, and they're saying like, "This is for the Tikas fan out there. I don't know who you are, but
Here in the back, me.
yes, I mean I'm the freak that screamed Tikas during Celebration Chicago, so
Dang.
we're a national accent, so."
As the only Masamita stan on the entire planet, I understand.
That's
Yeah.
true. I've never met. This is interesting to me because, yeah, Mike is crazy into Masamita. You're into Tikas. This is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my favorite character is of all time in Star Wars is Fives.
Yeah.
So I don't. I see you, Dan. I know what you're trying to do. Kurto. No, I see what you're trying to do. You're gonna try. Yeah, you're gonna be like, oh, but you said Ahsoka and you said Rey throughout the years. I know you. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Dan's
What
gonna be like, well, my favorite.
Come on. That's
No
my
one's ever
favorite
heard.
character of all time.
Dan's gonna be like, well, no one's ever heard of my favorite character, Darth Vader. Deep cut.
Dan, who is your favorite character? Dan Kurto.
Yeah.
Han Solo. I've said it 10,000 million times, man. Han Solo was the guy that got me into it in the original trilogy. I love the movie they came out with a few years ago. I just always liked that character because he was the guy that introduced what else was going on besides Sith and Jedi.
Yeah.
And I was that. And Han Solo, I've said this before, he understood all the alien languages. He didn't speak them, as we saw him speak Wookiee a little bit, but he understood everybody's little subtitles in the films. And I thought that, as a kid, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But he's not going to be in this episode.
No, not at all.
That's,
You see a little 10-year-old Han running through Coruscant.
Oh God.
There he goes.
didn't we almost see that in Sith?
We did.
Yeah.
I do believe that if Clone Wars would have gotten 2 more seasons, we would have seen them at some point in Clone Wars.
That'd be cool.
That and the Vong.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
The Vong.
Mm.
Oh.
I missed all those.
You know what I would love to see now that we've had Rogue One? I would love to see Krennic somewhere in here.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I mean, it's like if Kanan can make it, why not Krennic?
Right?
Yeah. My only thing about that is like everything Krennic was doing and like that secret group of people that were working on the Death Star project. They're just all so they're shadowy figures, right? Working behind the scenes. So the point is to not see them, to not know what they're working on or doing. So
Right.
it actually makes more sense for Krennic to not be in it. Unfortunately,
It would
I just
fit in well.
I just want to see if they show us Palpatine's baby mama.
Mm.
Oh no.
Mm.
She's just like kind of like
Why?
hanging around.
Why do I have to be reminded of
I don't
it?
know. Let's ask JJ and Disney.
We get to the
why.
end of the Clone Wars, and it's a scene of Palpatine in his office, and then someone
The door just slowly closes.
Yeah. What?
No. No.
He needs to celebrate somehow.
Yeah, we'll see Baby Yoda float by because he's alive.
Right. He is alive.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we saw him in the council meeting. Just a
Oh,
You
no,
second.
can't
no,
sit
no,
at the
no.
goddamn table.
No, you see baby Ezra because maybe the Clone Wars ends after Revenge of the Sith, and so he's already had his Empire Day speech, and there he goes, man.
Corey's like, fuck y'all. I'm out.
All I have to say is baby Ezra, and he's gone. That's it. Oh, man.
Well, wasn't Baby Ezra born the same day Luke and Leia were?
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Yep, on Empire Day.
Yeah.
Are we
And, you know,
done?
he'll be on a magic card, no less.
We've
Oh,
been
we done.
staring at this image for a little while.
Yeah,
here
let's
with
keep
all-
going. So in this image here, we see the 501st clones with Rex. They all have their Ahsoka Trooper helmets. These guys look phenomenal.
Mhm.
I
Iconic now.
iconic shot. Yeah, 100%. We saw a little bit of this in Chicago. We've got
Why
Ahsoka.
couldn't they? I'm a little bummed they couldn't paint the rest of their outfit orange.
So
to
yeah,
match.
right. Why
Yeah.
why they have new helmets? What's the story there?
It's to essentially they're showing respect to Ahsoka because she's not part of the army anymore. She's not part of the Jedi Order. She's essentially just kind of like a civilian volunteer. So they've given her command of this, and the clones to essentially just to kind of show respect for her.
This
Has
is
matched.
before,
And because everybody knows what was done to her was wrong.
right?
Right. Just commemorating her. This is for Siege of Mandalore.
Maybe
Okay, so this is before Order 66.
Yes,
Yes, correct.
but they will probably execute Order 66 in these outfits.
Yep.
Maybe
Well, I had a thought earlier when you saw the picture of her in hyperspace. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they didn't get the Order 66 message because they were traveling at the time.
Oh no, they're getting it.
Oh, they get it? All right,
yeah.
never mind.
Yeah, they get transmissions during hyperspace. They've shown that on Clone Wars a lot.
Yes.
I mean, maybe the whole pain thing was like to have the head be Ahsoka and then the body to be the 501st. So at least it's like loyalty to the 501st, but still have some attribution, like connection to Ahsoka. Like it's if they're all painted over, like they go, oh, we all are just loyal to Ahsoka, but no, they are loyal both to Ahsoka and the 501st.
Right.
But couldn't they do like a little fade or something? Just
You
to like,
also, you also don't want to confuse for the 212th Attack Battalion Obi-Wan's clones.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you don't want
They're the same
This
color.
is
Well, they might have run out of paint. They had to do all the helmets. So.
this shot of Obi-Wan is really awesome.
Yeah, that's the one with the smoke, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the
Yep.
one I was talking. That maybe
that. Looks like he's on the bridge. Yeah.
Wow.
what did Anakin get me into this time?
Right.
Mhm.
It's just so weird thinking about like a shot like this and thinking Revenge of the Sith is like a couple of
What?
years later.
What if they're on Canon Nemodia?
That's what I've heard a lot of people say. Is it
Yeah.
Cambodia.
I'd love to see that.
That would explain the bridges.
It would. We've
That
got
little mall-shaped helmet.
that's actually Gar Saxon right there.
Is it really?
it?
Yep, that's Gar
Hell
Saxon.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We get him in his full Clone Wars glory. If you guys watch Rebels, you know that Gar Saxon ends up appearing on the show. He even wields the Darksaber for a little bit.
Mhm.
So that's it's cool that we're seeing him making an appearance. Looks like he's about to snipe someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that helmet, oh my god, phenomenal. That shot of all those gun tips. Look at that.
Oh man, this is the wonder that's missing from so much of Star Wars now. Just like locations like this that are just incredible. I
Yep.
mean, and
I
this
don't
is
know, man.
Mandalore
I
looking
really
absolutely
like the
amazing.
desert.
Dude, I mean, the desert is just incredible. I can't tell you how much
the
I have
world.
loved having 5 new desert planets. It is.
I know we've
really-
got
I
Tata
truly
Pisana.
feel like I've been in a galaxy far, far away.
I mean, there's a lot of fucking sand in Star Wars. Like, I'm with Anakin on this one. Like, can we go literally anywhere else?
Oh man. Yeah.
My soul's being hurt
Yeah.
with this discussion. It's being ripped apart.
We can talk about we can talk about Ezra more if it makes you happy.
So we've got a lot of stuff going on here. We've got well, actually going back, we've got the Battle of Mandalore going on here, right in the main plaza.
Sure.
We've got wow, she's being flunked. I don't know who these guys are here. This is like
maybe it's Corky or whatever his name is, running around doing Corky things.
They look like
Was that his name? I can't remember. Was that his
Corky.
name?
Yeah.
Corky.
Corky.
Come on, guys.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's like recruiting all his other like classmates, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh shit, this is real explosives."
Oh
Yeah. Yeah, this looks like Mandalorians with some new armor.
yeah, but not Death Watch and not they're not
Right,
Maul
Maul.
loyalists. They look like independent Mandalorians, possibly from Concordia or just somewhere else. The Death Watch were not the only Mandalorians, so it's cool to actually finally see independent Mandalorians getting involved.
Right.
Maybe you're gonna see the Wrens. Maybe.
Oh,
Mhm.
true. What if we see the armorer just pop up?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean they could do some
They
connection.
have a whole thing of foundlings or something just running around, like not taking off their helmets.
Right.
Mhm.
Everyone else is taking off their helmets, and the foundlings are just like in the corner, like with their helmets on.
Dude, I'd be down. This is an interesting shot. We've got all right. So if this doesn't take place during Revenge of the Sith, I have to say, Anakin's blind. Like she is clearly pregnant.
I was gonna say that dude does not pay attention to his wife.
That's the same outfit too.
The same outfit, yes.
Yeah.
So I do believe that this will be during Revenge of the Sith. Some scene we didn't see.
Madly in love. Oh, he's so madly in love, and that's why he didn't notice the baby.
I didn't
bump.
notice that.
Dude, even beyond this, I was hoping that they would just completely overhaul Padme's character model, because there are just some character models in the Clone Wars, man, that are just not good. I mean, like Padme, Dooku, I mean, like the Internal Affairs guy in Senate Murders. There are just some real
Don't remind me.
characters
Yeah,
in the
like
Clone Wars.
they evolved like a lot of the main ones, the ones that are going
Right.
to be on the most frequently, to match more to what it was. And then some characters they're just kind of like, we'll stick with the stylized.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Well,
think
yeah.
this is the battle over Coruscant.
Yes, because this is
Looks like it.
the like Providence class Star Destroyers, right?
Right.
Because I'm asking because I'm actually not seeing the picture because my phone flipped them.
Oh, shoot.
But the reason I think I agree with you, Corey, that it's the Battle of Coruscant is because no battle in the Clone Wars in its 6 seasons we've ever seen more than one Providence class Star Destroyer other than at Sereno or Raxus. So it has to be some really important battle to have like 5 or 6 Providence class Star Destroyers.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I think this is it.
I think if it is, it has to be the very beginning.
the
of it.
beginning of it. Yeah, it's starting out. I agree.
Like they're all
Yep.
they're all arriving, and because otherwise that's not enough ships to be the Battle of Coruscant.
No.
That's yeah. But
Maybe they're gonna take some cues from the Clone Wars, from the original, the Gendy one, where the dreadnoughts are just jumping in like bullets into Coruscant's atmosphere.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
That would be a stunning scene, in my
Maybe we'll see Mace Windu riding the ships again, like we did.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
that
yeah.
that
I
would be kind
think
of cool.
someone asked in the comments, do y'all think we'll see Grievous or Dooku in this season? I think so. I think they'll pop up.
Definitely Grievous. He was very, very popular, but he
Yeah.
still can't meet Anakin, right? So
Nope.
maybe they would just miss each other again.
Right.
I
Right.
actually had a discussion with, 2 hours ago with a friend on Facebook. Like, she was wondering if Grievous would make an appearance. If he made an appearance, would they update his model like they originally intended for the Crystal Crisis arc? Now, Grievous could appear like a cameo in a hologram with his old model, just to reference that he's actually doing like the mission to kidnap Palpatine. But unless he appears in one of the episodes with the two sisters and Ahsoka's walkabout, there's no place in Revenge of the Sith other than his death, other than if they recreate that in animated form. Grievous
Right.
does not fit in any of the arcs so far, which is also killing me. And the same with Dooku. Dooku, I don't think we're gonna see Dooku unless they decide to just show his beheading, which I doubt. They
Oh
will.
God.
But actually they did.
What?
They actually PG-13 it in season 6, episode 13. The episode where
Right. Were they there in the with Yoda? Yeah.
So they could dare do that, but Grievous, they could be just little cameos. I mean, I would be happy if Gunray, Grievous, Tikis, they all make cameos to just reference their appearance in Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'd love to
This
see
shot of Anakin is
Poggle,
fantastic.
I'd love to see Poggle one more time, or definitely Wat Tambor and Bad Batch.
Oh, yes, please.
Maybe Lot Dodd.
Please, oh my Tikis.
Well, hold on one second, guys. I actually got to take off. I got to go take care of stuff.
Oh. Yeah, dude. Go right
So-
ahead. Well, thank you for joining.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to doing this again over the next couple of months.
Absolutely. We got the
You're not
Clone
airing
Wars
all these-
return.
Yep.
all
got
at
a
once,
lot.
right?
Nope.
No,
weekly.
they're weekly.
Nice.
Yep.
Yep.
So we got at least 13 weeks, or 12 weeks of fun.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good, guys.
100%.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night.
All right. See you,
All
Mike.
right. Good night.
Take it easy, guys.
You know what would
I
be
think that's
so
much better.
interesting?
Oh, sorry.
No. I was just saying what would be really interesting, and this won't happen. But could you imagine if Obi-Wan's contacting Ahsoka here? Sorry, I completely remove what I was going to say. Rebels exists. I just thought of something else. Never mind. I was going to say he could warn Ahsoka of Anakin going to the dark side, but that wouldn't make sense because in Rebels she finds out, which is fine.
Right.
Forgive me. There does seem to be a Mandalorian behind Obi-Wan there, though.
That
So-
appears to be.
Right? Because I don't think that's a clone. That looks like I could be wrong.
Yeah, so you had some people speculating this could be Obi-Wan's distress beacon, like
Yes.
his message to warn the Jedi. I don't think so, because exactly to your point, there's a Mandalorian right there.
Well,
I
so his
don't-
hood's on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly. And his hood's on, so that directly opposes what we've already seen in the Rebels. So that's not what this is.
Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, here's the shot we were talking about. We think this is Jesse, huh?
Yeah, I think it's Jesse. I think
Oh, yeah.
this is maybe it's like a callback to the way Top died. Like, oh, the
Oh
Nightmare.
man, yeah.
No, I can't. It's like I'm a Separatist fanboy, and I started off like really trying to like. It's like rooting for your own team. I always rooted for the Separatists. And like, kill those clones. Especially when the Clone Wars got more and more involved with their development after like season 3's beginning with ARC Troopers and Clone Cadets, not in that order, they're reverse. And when they started developing these characters, I started getting more and more involved. And every character's death, from the Domino Squads to Thorn, all these, they're more impactful than anything I've felt in the movies.
Yeah.
In the last.
Oh,
5 years.
100%.
That, That's really funny
They
you
just
say that because that is exactly what Filoni promised when this series premiered. You will care about the clone troopers.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Previously you wouldn't have, and he was absolutely right.
Oh yeah. They
Because
made sure.
the clones are just they're so complex. Not like even beyond their individuality that they were given in the series. I mean, beyond that, they are just these. They're basically just these slaves that were just bred to fight in this upcoming war and die. It's a horrible existence, and that's glossed over in the films.
Well, I mean, like Rex's quote from earlier in the trailer, where like, "Oh, we clones have like mixed like I think he said like mixed opinions on this like
On the
war or like
Right.
that they would not exist without this war," which also is a really like the whole. I know people say that like the movies have been excellent and stuff. They've like everybody has their own opinion, but the clones and their story is much more like interesting and impactful and deeper than anything that all the movies, not the sequels and the spin-offs, have tackled, because these are beings that have been created, cultivated like sheep and animals to fight in a war they don't understand, and in the end they're
Right.
discarded and they don't know what, like it's the ultimate sacrifice, and they don't know why are they doing this. It's like it's the most depressing story in all of Star Wars. It's
Yeah.
like it's sad. Like as much as I love
They were literally created just to fight this
Yeah.
war.
Yeah, and it's a false war at the end of the day. It's the entire war is a
Yeah.
ruse by Palpatine to make the Jedi out to be warmongers and the enemy, and to further propel him toward
Yeah.
the galaxy accepting him as the Emperor. And it's the clones are we grew up with them, loving them, and all the different armor sets, but it is a tragic story, and that is, the prequels are a tragic story. And it's just, that's why I love Star Wars, is the multi-layered stories, not necessarily the simple stuff all the time, but when you actually go deeper like that, with characters like the clones or any other number of characters, and that's why I hope in the future we get even more complexities added to the original trilogy era, the sequel trilogy era. I would love to get an animated series just after Return of the Jedi to explore different themes and characters like that, but beyond the Clone Wars and the prequel era.
I mean,
Right.
like just the whole subject of the existence of a clone is enough to fill an entire movie that would be more, well, in my opinion, more depressing than the Joker. But hey, it's different folks, different strokes. It's like
Mhm.
like the whole idea of this perpetual fighting machine that like has no meaning in its life. It's like just it's more depressing than Westworld. It's like ugh.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
this
mean,
type of depression. It's like ugh.
I think one thing that I always loved about like the Domino Squad, for example, is, I mean, the name. The name itself is setting, the stage for what's going to happen with them. And most of their deaths, every single time one of them dies, you feel that every single time. When Echo supposedly died, when Fives died, that was the most heartbreaking. That's probably the saddest Star Wars death.
Mm.
I think, at least for me, I can't think of anything that sort of. I mean, I would say Kanan's up there, just the way they shot that.
Oh, dude, Kanan's death sequence is the most powerful scene of that whole series.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%.
Well, I can't speak. Like my taste is really odd. I mean, I cried when Separatist died and when Plo Koon died. So I didn't die. I didn't cry when Luke died. I didn't cry when like Darth Vader died. Sorry, I mean I'm a heartless wreck. But I did cry when Plo Koon died, and I did cry when Fives died, because
Of course.
this is the beauty of these big arcs, and this is why the Clone Wars is doing wonders in this upcoming season, because it's gonna give us 4 episodes with each of the new characters, like the Bad Batch, the sisters that are gonna be with Ahsoka, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some new characters to get attached in the Siege of Mandalore, and then we're gonna be heartbroken when he, she, or they just die.
Right. Yeah. I think that
It's powerful.
I feel like when Jesse goes, that's going to be that's going to be an emotional impact right there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It looks like it's going to be really a really powerful scene. I mean, I think I've brought it up maybe on the show once, definitely on my show, and at least to Corey, that I think a even harsher way for Jesse to be killed beyond whatever Maul does to him, if they're on the streets of Sindari, right? The battle is ensuing. Order 66 comes down. The clones start turning on Ahsoka, and if Jesse is one of them, he's at the forefront of the clones trying to kill Ahsoka, and Ahsoka and Rex, whichever one, has to make the quick decision to put him down right away because he's not stopping. And it is a just harsh, knee-jerk reaction that just rips off the Band-Aid and just puts you right in that horrific, dreadful feeling of Order 66 coming down as quickly as it does, and it takes you off guard as much as it takes them off guard, and it would just be a really sudden and shocking thing to just have an otherwise triumphant battle just instantly flip as Order 66 flips the entire film of Revenge of the Sith and State of the Galaxy. I think but having him killed by Maul and then Ahsoka cradle him as he dies works too.
So I mentioned this in the comments real quick, which I thought was interesting, and so I reckon Rex kills Jesse, and I still think that could be a possibility.
Yeah,
I still think that could be a very real possibility.
Yeah, maybe Maul doesn't kill him, and Maul leaves the room, and then Rex finds Jesse, and then it happens in that room.
Right. Jeez.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, it's not you're this is not Rebels. This is not Resistance or any other show. You are back in the tragic moments where the dark times began. You are back right before Revenge of the Sith at arguably one of the most tragic moments in galactic history when everything came down, and it's not nice. You are back in Star Wars, and this is the culmination of the worst, most pointless war to ever befall the galaxy.
Yeah.
And I appreciate them keeping the Clone Wars tonally consistent with not only the Clone Wars as it was before the cancellation, but with Revenge of the Sith. I'm so happy that they went this route instead of attempting to make it consistent with what they did after.
Well, that's kind of what we talked about earlier too, was the fact that I'm glad it really feels that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was worried that it was possible they could miss the beat of Revenge of the Sith and how dark things get, but no, I mean, it feels like this is a connection of Revenge of the Sith. You know what I'm saying? Like this feels like the prequel right before that happens. And that's certainly exciting.
Like, let's think about the person who's making this, like Dave Filoni. Like, he knows that he and George started the show in 2008, and even earlier. In
05.
And the generation that grew up with this show has aged like 12 years. So he knows that if he made this finale, this epic, beautiful send-off to the show any lighter than it has to be, it would be a disservice to the show, to Revenge
100%.
and the fans, because he knows that the fans have grown up and they're expecting, like with other shows, like the show matures with the fans and the fans matures with the show. So of
100%.
course now we're at that point that it's going to be the saddest point. And as much as I know it's sad to say, but like Clone Wars has been here for me, it's been always here. It's done so many things for me. But if you really love something, you have to be ready to let it go. And just it's that time. Just like
no, it's yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, me and Ross have had several discussions about things in our own personal life, and the fact that we're getting this show right in crucial moments, I think, is a really powerful thing. And it might sound dramatic to most people who don't have that emotional attachment to the show that we do, but certainly if you have an emotional attachment to Star Wars or any sort of, I guess, media that has helped you through tough times, right? Or something. Yeah. And I feel like Clone Wars has really been that consistent thing throughout my life, growing into an adult, I feel like, I'm sure Ross and all of you guys could speak for that, who have experienced the same thing. And Clone Wars was really always there, and I love that, as you said, the consistency is still there for us now to enjoy the finale properly, and it's not watered down. It's exactly what it needs to be, because they could have easily said, Dave, rewrite all the script, make it more kid friendly. They could have done it.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, and it's we're not. I mean, I know I and many others are not exaggerating when we say that the Clone Wars really is what started everything out for us. I mean, yeah, the Revenge of the Sith is what really kickstarted our generation of Star Wars fans. But it was the Clone Wars that continued it in this whole new, grand, and colorful, and creative, and inspiring way.
Yes.
Because listen, man, I was considering as a young kid becoming a meteorologist, and then the Clone Wars completely altered that course for me, and I realized my true passion was creativity and was being an artist, and then that opened me up to so many different opportunities just from the age of 9 years old and onwards, where I hopped on Skype for the first time, and at 9 years old, I'm talking to people in the Netherlands, in Singapore, in the Philippines, in Belgium. I mean, just literally the whole world of Star Wars fans and Lego Star Wars fans, and it just fundamentally changed the course of my life and so many other people's lives. And I think now, with the Clone Wars returning, and after that big San Diego Comic-Con 2018 revealed that it was coming back, I really think that the cast finally, at least it seems, that they have gotten a grasp of that now, and that's important to me, because everybody who worked on this show, not just Dave and George and the cast, but I mean everybody behind the scenes, they put together just something really special that none of us are ever going to forget in for the rest of our lives, because it really just kickstarted.
It's all tied in, man. It's all tied in.
I wouldn't know you, Corey, without it. I would not know. Our lives would look totally different.
Yeah, it's crazy, because I started this YouTube channel. Dan was there with me from the beginning when we used to call it the Wolfpack Podcast, which was completely
Wolfpack DCMM.
God, it was the complete dedication to the Clone Wars, and it does boggle my mind to realize that if it wasn't for this show, like as you said, Ross, I literally would know none of you guys. Would know none of you guys. Wouldn't have. I don't think, because I'm pursuing a career in film. I don't think I would have pursued that if it wasn't for Clone Wars. Even, I'm saying, and that's something that is really bizarre to think about.
Yeah, because I mean, if it was not for the Clone Wars, you would not have, like, I would not have seen Lego Star Wars stop motion animators on YouTube, and I would not have picked up that Sharpie, and it's just crazy how those little things just completely change everything. And the Clone Wars was that for us. I mean, it may sound melodramatic, but it's true.
When we met Dave last year in Chicago, when we saw him again on the streets of Chicago, and we stopped and said hello.
How crazy was that?
We spent about almost 10 minutes with him, just expressing that to him and explaining that this thing, show has brought everyone together. It's the trailer, however, where we see Ahsoka and Maul here.
Oh man,
this is we're getting to the epic finale duel.
Look at that lighting.
It is amazing.
The light from the explosion.
Look at this. This looks like a Pixar movie. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Dan, I'm just in awe of how shocked you must have been when you saw this scene. Not Dan Curto realizing that this was, you didn't know this was going to happen. That is so cool.
No.
What a cool surprise.
See now I'm trying to think back. When I saw this, I was thinking about it later on. I go, the last time that I remember seeing Maul in the Clone Wars, he was kidnapped by Palpatine.
Yes. There was
right?
this kind of death.
Killed Savage, took Maul away. But then I remember there was a comic book that came out after that kind of told how he got out and everything else like that. And obviously he shows up in Rebels, he shows up in Solo, so I know that the other way around chronologically, I think. But seeing him come back in the Clone Wars, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe there was a trailer. I don't remember it.
No, but I just think it's cool that like today you
I didn't
got
know he was
to,
going to play such a prominent role that they showed him this much in this trailer. I was
right.
like,
Yeah.
and he faces off against Ahsoka. That's pretty epic.
Yeah, dude.
Look
So-
at just how crisp and clean and clear that is. I mean, that is the
Incredible.
true culmination of the Clone Wars animation. I mean,
You'll never see anything like this ever again.
I hope that it's not true, man, because I hope the next animated series reaches this level, and that's something that, you know, I know Corey and I have discussed a lot, that by streaming this on Disney Plus and advertising it as the front-running Star Wars animated series on the platform, they are making a very clear statement here that this is what Star Wars animation can be. And sure,
Right.
you can have the lower tier Rebels animation and even Star Wars Resistance, but people will always know where the bar is and how high it has been raised. And if there is not another series like this that reaches these heights, I think there's always going to be a hole left in you know, the excitement and the expectations of Star Wars fans.
Agreed. I think that's what makes this show so special is I guess that's what threw me off with Rebels going into season 2 was I realized that it didn't have the same stakes as Clone Wars did. Resistance is far from anything that's I don't even want to talk about that. But I feel like yeah, I agree. If we're going from this show, if we go to anything less than this, I don't know, man. It's
not that anything less than this is necessarily a problem. It's just it's the thought of the absence of something like this in the future and never reaching these heights again because everything is more fast tracked or just has a smaller budget.
Well, like for example, we know. I mean, I've heard that you know there's a Rebels sequel show coming out, and I hope
if it doesn't look like this, man, I think that'd be a shame.
I hope it does, man. I hope it looks as crisp and clean as this is. And honestly, if that means cutting the season down in half to 12 episodes like this, so they can have the budget for it, go for it.
Or if we have to wait another 2 years, I mean, that's fine. It's like video games. It's like when a game is delayed, that's a good thing. That means it's going to be incredible, and they are taking the time to create the best version of their vision and the best product.
And I think that's why Clone Wars, you know, this final season took 2 years to come out from the announcement because they really wanted to make sure to nail it. And I think that's great. Yeah, this fight's going to be phenomenal. Just the way Maul moves, Ray Park doing the motion capture here for Maul.
And it got us wondering, is there something more than just the motion capture that Dave mentioned at the Chicago panel? Is this also going to be in part performance capture? And I mean, I'm just speculating here, but if there's performance capture going on here as well, because of the way Maul moves, and it's just so incredible. I don't know if that's a testament to the animators. I no doubt it probably is, more than likely, for being realistic. But it makes me wonder, is there also some performance capture happening here with either Sam Witwer or Ray Park? I mean, maybe not, but
no, I think you're
good.
It would definitely be Ray Park. I mean, that move that we just saw, that's classic Ray Park. He does that all the time.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting to hear your guys' comments about this because clearly you grew up with this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. You were all kids when this came out, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I was 9.
Oh, yeah.
Me, I was in my 40s. So I grew up original trilogy, and when that ended, that was it. There was nothing. You know, we had comic books, we had novels and stuff like that, but you know, that didn't come out till much later.
Right.
The prequels come back, you know, they're starting to come out, and you know, it's a different type of story, but it's still set in the universe. But when that ended, everybody knew that was it. This is the last time. They're not going to make anything else. Then they announced the Clone Wars, and they said this is going to be the story we didn't have time to tell in the films. Right? We all wanted to see the Clone Wars. We grew up since 1977. Clone Wars. What the hell is that? Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it. Never got to see it in the prequels. Just the very beginning and the very end. What happened in the middle? Tartakovsky series comes out that filled in some of the blanks. I am a huge fan of that series.
Great.
Yeah.
This one comes out, and it's like, not only do we get a hell of a lot more than we could have bargained for, but it over the years it progressed and it became so good. The animation was so, and they were creating how to do it. They didn't know how to do hair.
Right.
Right.
I remember being in the panel. So I went to the conventions in Japan 2008, where they first started talking about this, showed. I actually had lunch with Filoni. They didn't know who he was, right? Nobody knew who he was. But I got to talk to him because he was approachable and nobody was mobbing him like they do nowadays.
Right.
And just what the show could be, when I mentioned the Clone Wars earlier, that was one of the things he said. He goes, we're really going to care about the clone troopers. And people are like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it became such a central theme within the show.
Yeah.
And having some of these characters coming back in the original format, and this is key to me. This looks like it was created at the same time as the other episodes.
Yeah.
Because what they've done since Clone Wars with Rebels was very, very different look. I didn't like it as much. I didn't like the first season of Rebels. I did like the next seasons because then it got considerably better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But having this come out now, I find it very interesting that they're ending the Clone Wars at the same time that they're ending the Skywalker saga as far as marketing and the promotion. So this is really, once again, in my lifetime, the end of Star Wars. Right?
Yeah.
Keep ending, man.
But Star Wars is forever. I have lots of merchandise that tells me that, but I just really like how they're paying tribute to what has come before, and they're not crapping all over it for whatever is the new thing. They're really being respectful, and they're just hearing you guys talk about this show. I mean, I was a fan of the show, but this is your Star Wars. And I met Corey. Remember when we very first got together? We had people that grew up in the prequel eras, people that, like me, grew up in the original trilogy. You guys, the Clone. I like the way that this all comes together because we're all different aspects of this franchise, yet we all have the same exact passions.
Yep.
For me, that's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
That's
what I think was always great about when we started the show was it was always different perspectives throughout all the generations of Star Wars. And yeah, man, it is surreal to see the conclusion to this series because we never thought. I mean, I gave up hope. I think
it felt like it ended abruptly.
Yeah, of course, and which it did. And I gave up hope that the show was ever going to come back. I think when Rebels was airing its third season and they killed Maul, and then they were doing more things with Clone Wars characters, I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is how we're going to see these characters play out. And I was at the panel for during San Diego Comic-Con at 2018, and I remember just being in that room. And a couple days before, I'm like, they're going to announce the show's coming back. I'm like, there's going to be a crazy twist to all of this, and they're just going to announce it. I remember being in that panel room. Everyone telling me, no, it's just going to be, commemorative this and that. And I'm sitting there, and the panel's ending, and Dave says he's got one surprise left, and I'm like, the trailer starts, and there it is. It's coming back, and I'm so glad and relieved that we all get these memories to share together, to watch the series and watch it end. And I, while we're not getting the 52 episodes that were planned, we're getting 12 to conclude the series. And that's very exciting.
It's a dream come true.
I remember when the announcement came out, it was like Dom from the Star Wars Underworld was like tweeting.
Yep.
And it's like all of a sudden it's like coming back, and I over here in Bulgaria, like so many miles away from San Diego, it's like I had a malfunction. I had an error 404. Like it's like what?
Right.
What?
I was actually sitting next to Dom as that happened, and me and him flipped out together. We're like, "Oh my god, this is insane!" It was
in spirit.
That's right. That's right. Dom is always here in spirit. He is, of course. If you guys don't know Dom from the Star Wars Underworld, he's been on the show before. Great, fantastic guy.
Yeah, and I was with you from here in spirit. He was with you there, and we were all collectively losing our minds about this.
We were. I don't think anything's going to compare to that moment. So, like in terms of the only thing that compares to that moment that's up there, but not exactly there, is the Clone Wars panel celebration where we got to see the cast last time. And
I mean, I missed the San Diego Comic-Con panel, but being in that room for the final Clone Wars panel with all of them there, that was a privilege.
It 100%. So let's go ahead and close out this trailer. We're almost through with it. We've got
One
this.
more,
Oh, go right ahead.
before we go. Have you noticed that Maul has rebuilt his lightsaber with somebody else's?
Yes. Yep. If you guys, you want to reveal who that is?
Wait, what?
Ooh.
That lightsaber hilt that Dan was just mentioning right here is the hilt of Asajj Ventress from Dark Disciple.
Oh,
No.
Yep.
oh.
Oh, I thought you knew. Oh, this is news.
Yeah.
No, I forgot how it looked. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
I almost don't think there's a story there. I think it's just
Yeah.
the design carried
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. I don't think he like went to Dathomir and found where she was. I mean, she was like drowned in some water or something at the end and disappeared. So
Drowned.
Yeah.
But no, that was her funeral, and she was dead, and they laid her to rest in the waters of Dathomir. Ventress wasn't drowned.
no, I know she wasn't drowned, but I mean, wasn't her body like put in water?
Anakin and Obi-Wan took Ventress to Dathomir and drowned her at the end of Dark Disciple.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I meant like no.
Well, make sure she stays dead. Don't you know that's the true test of a witch?
Right. But yeah, so that is Ventress's lightsaber. We get this cool shot of Rex and Ahsoka on Mandalore. We got Anakin, the Bad Batch. This shot. See, this is where I think Order 66 is happening. This is where I think it's going down.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yep.
Mhm.
And this upcoming shot.
It gets me wondering, like the specifics of the Protocol 66, right? Like, who's on the whitelist, and how did they create like a whitelist and a blacklist for the inhibitor chips? Because if they're also firing at Maul, but then later on they're not firing at Vader or the Inquisitors. I mean, obviously at that point, Order 66 is not in act. It's not in action anymore. But it's makes me wonder, like, what are the specifics behind how the inhibitor chips work if they're also firing on dark side users?
Right. Yeah, man. It seems like Maul. So here's what I think happens.
Well,
I think-
Palpatine's not a huge fan of Maul.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow. I wonder if Maul has been captured, and that's why he's on the Venator.
Right.
Um,
Probably has been.
yeah, I'm thinking that's what that is. And
maybe maybe during an escape is when he grabs Jesse, and it's all happening on the Venator.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Palpatine sends a direct message to the 501st on the Venator to ensure that Ahsoka and Maul don't get off and that they don't survive Order 66.
Right. Damn, this could get creative.
Yeah.
So this is the final shot of the trailer where Ahsoka is closing the doors here to this particular room where she's in with Rex. Rex looks injured for sure, or out of it. And Ahsoka and Rex, I think this is where we're going to see them have to work together to escape.
Yeah. They don't want to kill any clones. They don't want to hurt anybody, but so they're barricading themselves inside.
Yeah.
It's like,
What's going on above her, by the way?
I think that's just a
Oh yeah, that's just like the ceiling light.
yeah.
isn't that just a Venator control room? Like,
Mhm.
the
Yeah, it
So
looks
the
like
fact
it.
that it looks like Vader's meditation chamber is
It does. It's a little mirrored. Yeah, it looks. A little,
just a coincidence.
yeah. Final season, February 21st, guys. Friday, February 21st is when the final season of Clone Wars begins.
So let's talk about that day for a second. I forget where we heard that it was February 7th, but then that was out the window.
Yeah.
And then we saw in that Disney Plus reel that it was February 17th, and then that got pulled. There wasn't confirmed by anyone official, so we didn't really know what the date was going to be. And now it's the 21st, but there's no way it was always the 21st.
No, I don't. I think it just kept on getting switched around.
They were just very careful about just saying dates because they weren't sure until these last, probably this past month.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah, that's
at the Rise of Skywalker premiere, he was saying that he was going back to finish the show. So it was at around the 20th of December, he was finishing the final shots of the show. So maybe up until then, they were not sure. And maybe
right.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
and Aaron, Yeah, Joe Aaron said they just finished last Friday, so there's some delays. It looked like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and I think that's why, they weren't sure about the marketing or the date or anything like that.
Maybe that's why we didn't get a trailer or a spot or a promo or anything like this before, because people started to speculate why are they like, and usually when there's lack of information, usually some negative information starts spilling out. Like
Mhm.
somebody shared like some interview that Sam Witwer was not sure that the Clone Wars was gonna come in February, which I was a little shocked. But again, until there's an official word from Lucasfilm or Disney, nothing is official.
Right. Yeah. 100%. But guys, that concludes tonight's show. The final show, final podcast on any Clone Wars trailer. Insane. But that closes it out. Wow. Dan, where can everybody follow you on social media?
Oh, me?
You.
Facebook usually. I'm not as social as I used to be. So,
All right. Understandable in these this day and age. Other Dan?
Yes. Well, you can find Dan Grievous on almost all social media sites, and I continue to, lurk around YouTube, like making Clone Wars videos, and I do plan to make a Villains Megamix dedicated to the bad guys of the Clone Wars. So stay tuned for that.
Nice. I look forward towards seeing everything you're going to be doing for the final season.
Thank you.
Ross?
Yeah, you can find me as always on YouTube at Michael MGF and everywhere else at MGF Customs, making custom Lego minifigures and soon making a full set for Star Wars: The Clone Wars and its series finale.
Very cool. You can follow me here at First Order Transmissions. Sorry, Kessel Run.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
I don't know.
First Order Kessel Wolfpack Run CCM Transmissions.
That's right. We have a lot of fun Clone Wars content coming up. I put out a tweet a couple of days ago about contacting some fans for Clone Wars. I didn't listen. I thought 5 people would reply, and then all of a sudden, 3,000 people replied.
So,
I can't grab all 3,000 of you, unfortunately, but I did contact everybody who replied for the most part, who was interested. Not 3,000 of you, like 30.
You've been busy.
Yeah, no. We do have several fun Clone Wars content coming up on the channel. I am actually, me and Ross are collaborating on some stuff as well that we'll show off when the show airs. I'll also be doing reactions to each episode every week. There's no way I would miss out on that. And I'm sure all of us will come together every week to review each episode for Clone Wars. There's no way I would miss out on having a discussion of the final season. So shout out to the cast and crew of the Clone Wars and anybody who is a fan of the show. I really don't think any of this would have been possible without the fan demand for the show to return. And here we are talking about the final season. So on that note, thank you all for watching. And as always, may the Force be with you.